So what is the toughest car that you can buy today?
Jeep or Land Rover might try and stake claim, and they could be the bison and the rhino of the car world. But what's the elephant? What is indestructible?
20 years! It's been 20 years since that was showcased to the world, and it still remains one of my most memorable videos I've ever seen in my whole life. And that truly is an elephant, isn't it? But that is the Hilux that we never got in India. We do, however, get this Hilux in India, and yes, this was launched last year, but we never got around to driving it because Toyota never had a car to give us. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, welcome PD Army to the first drive of the new Toyota Hilux. That it isn't technically new, and it's not my first drive either because I've driven it in the past, but you get the drift, right? You get what I'm trying to say. Let's get driving.
Well, before we talk about the elephant, let's first talk about the big elephant in the room. And no, I don't mean me. Although the manual costs about 30 lakh rupees ex-showroom, the one that we are driving, and that's the one you want to buy, that's 38. That's insane.
Okay, now I know what you guys really want to know. You guys want to know if this thing is any good off-road or if it just has some pretensions which sort of make it go off-road well, because of course it has a lot of history that can hark back to. So what Toyota has done is set up a bit of a course for us to do, because at the end of the day, when you do want to go off-road, I always suggest people to do it in a controlled environment, in a place where you can go off-road sensibly, and always do it with friends around, so that at least then you know if you do something stupid, you can have people help you out. And you know, irrespective of how many times I actually do this, it still sort of scares the poo out of me. I don't like it. I don't like side inclines. There are two things that I don't like doing, right? Side inclines where I know that the car might slip out and can turn turtle. And the other one I really don't like is going through water. If you stay in a city like Mumbai, this actually comes in handy in the monsoon, because invariably you will have to drive through a foot of water somewhere. So I'm going to stop in the middle of this little pond here. I can tell you for a fact that I'm just at about the door level. We can put the footage here so it proves that we are about that high. And it's just going to do it very, very slowly and nicely and smoothly. And you don't really have to worry about stuff like, will you have water in your intakes? You won't, because if you do it sensibly and you don't make a big splash with off-road water driving, then you can actually go through. People get screwed over when they drive into the water because they do it like monkeys. Water wading is supposed to be slow and steady, not fast and hectic. You're not supposed to make big splashes.
And then there was the typical articulation, which was a little more than the lallu stuff we usually do at these drives. And of course, it was so simple for the Hilux. And even more simple were the inclines and declines, which were, well, those were lallu stuff, like really lallu stuff. Now, I would love to take a page out of Whistling Diesel's book or Clarkson's book and put this through a real torture test. Maybe someday when I'm a billionaire and I have my own YouTube channel to showcase my 100 Ferraris, I will do that. For now though, a road in the middle of the forest will have to suffice.
Although I have driven this on the road, I wanted to know what it feels like when you put it through like an extended torture test on a trail like this continuously for a few hours without giving it any respite whatsoever. Putting it through all the ruts, all the rocks, all the undulation, all the gravel, all the little puddles that you can put it through. And you know what? I think I've come to a conclusion. This might not be as expensive as a Fortuner, but it is cooler than a Fortuner because, of course, it gives you a more lifestyle-y vibe. It makes you look like a cool guy or a girl or either who's more adventurous. Now, I normally don't like pickup trucks in general. I think they're a bit pointless for India because people don't really use them for what they're meant to be. I prefer an SUV body style. But in this case, I'm going to go back on what I believe on. Because I think as a primary family car, this is better. Why? It's cheaper than a Fortuner, it's cooler than a Fortuner, it's got the same running gear as a Fortuner, it feels almost as comfortable as a Fortuner, it's got space in the back to put your stuff, and of course it's got a ton of space in the boot, in the bed. Could this be your family car? For the pickups in the past, that answer would have been an absolute and definitive no. For this pickup, as much as I'd hate to admit it, the answer is an absolute and definitive yes. So go on then, live a little, ask that person out for coffee, quit your job and travel, take a risk, go buy a Hilux.